Are you a patriot who lives with blind patriotism? A Second Amendment advocate who wants to fight for the country, but not the military? Do you believe that GOP stands for great outstanding practices and good overall policies? Then you need to try genuine dodge and draft, made off the exploitations of past generations' enslavement program, with just the right amount of privilege in every sip. We guarantee one taste will leave you with a great sense of entitlement and moral superiority. Also, don't forget to ask for the Blue Lives Matter lager. It will give conviction, since the judge never will. So, if you're looking for the taste of freedom in a bottle, look no further than genuine dodge and draft and scream America. Genuine Dodge and Draft is a product of Good Old Boys Incorporated in conjunction with the Make America Great campaign for the 2020 re-election of Fuckboy45.
He has hands bigger than the president's. He can break down complex scientific theories in French with a country accent. Harvard, Stanford, and Yale have named their entrance exams after him. He is Jizzle the Jokester.
I don't always drink, but when I do, I prefer genuine dodge and draft. Dream to be different, my friends. Welcome to my talk show. 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 And we're on live.
Yo, 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 what it do though? Welcome back to another episode of Controversial Conversation. Controversially speaking, I am your host, your boy, your vehicle through this journey to enlightenment. And y'all, we got a good show today. But before that, I just want to thank y'all for sitting down, tuning in and saying, hey, what up? And really what's up is a whole lot of nonsense, especially with the 4th of July celebrations. I'm not hating on the 4th of July or nothing like that, but I am talking about this stupid ass military display that Fuckboy45 thought was cool to parade out here for no other reason than to show off. Yes, this right here was just a pissing contest, and that's nothing more. Also, it's been said that you like how you use his stuff. Now, but truthfully, apparently, Republican National Convention members were able to pass out tickets and sell tickets to conventions and all kinds of other shit. They were actually allowed the ability to do this, yet the Democratic National Convention wasn't. This was supposed to be a nonpartisan, not bipartisan, but nonpartisan, as in none of y'all motherfuckers. But for some reason, it was infiltrated by the party that was president right now. Fuckboy45 allowed his minions to scatter about the crowd and basically disseminate their tickets to what the fuck ever they're doing. I don't know, man. It's all some bullshit. And it's what we're going to talk about today. You see, today, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to talk about politics. And I know, when people say politics, you probably think something like but nah. Nah, we ain't gonna do that here today. Nah. Today I'm gonna do a quick little backstory, a little bit of history, because I feel like there's things that have been misconstrued. I feel like there's misinformation being put out, and basically I just want to correct a few things so we can kind of move forward, because I feel like we're not. But anyways, man, if y'all recall, last week, well, Jizzle was locked up. And this week we weren't able to get visitation. But, fear not, I do have my boy, M.C.J. He actually told me that he would be able and willing to perform a piece for us today. And I said, yo, man, thank you, bro. That would be so dope. So, without further ado, Mr. Jones, the floor is yours. So, somebody asked me if I thought the United States would ever be united. I told them no. When they asked me why, well, I responded with race, religion, politics, and class can never unite us because they are divisive in nature. Race seeks to play a card in the poker game of life, gambling on inequalities like a rolling of the dice. And I said it once, I say it again about religion. It's a sickness, a type of infection. And politics, well, they seek to pit one person against the other, father versus daughter, brother versus mother. And class is just a separation with no real boundaries, because money is a hoax no matter how much we count these. So if we are to classify ourselves through the label of race, let's just call it human, and let it not be based by the color of skin that covers our face. Humanism is the only way to come together. When you understand that I am me and I do the same unto you, the golden rule is in effect. Let's get respect, but give it better. And religion can never bring us closer, because they're fighting about what happens when it's over. Since we'll never know what's true or not, let's not blow up things out of proportion. From the core fundamentals to the pick and choose method, these verses and scriptures are used as a weapon, aimed with aggression at anybody who would question the belief, the creator, the prophet, or the message. And politically speaking, we're so politically correct, we're not politically aware of the politics that we select. We choose the right or we choose the left. Some are in the middle to try to keep them in check, but it always ends up somewhat of a wreck. What do we expect? Year after year, and we ain't changed things yet. Putting people in office that will contribute to the debt. And see, that adds a divide to the class. And that inequality is extremely vast, reaching enormous proportions, increasingly faster than we can raise the ceiling of glass. Don't mean to be crass, but that "don't fix what isn't broken" slogan can kiss my ass, because it takes a truly blinded individual to not see that this is broken half. So what do when they put a tax on the school? So we can't use education as a tool. It's like they'd rather have us fooled with their speeches and their suits, because they're only in this shit for the benefits and to drain the money pool. So I say it's them against us. But really, who is us? We're using race, religion, politics, and class when we should be using trust. We hide behind these things, then lean on them like a crutch. So coming together is a must. So many angry feelings filling up the heart until it busts. We're on the cusp of the point of no return. Instead of joining up to learn, we refuse to discuss the truth that this fuel is going to burn the world to ashes and dust. And the sad part is that it's all on us. yes, but no. Alright, sounds weird. I know. Listen. Okay, so let's take it back, right? 1850, 1860, around that time. So, we got the Whigs, not the Weebs, the Whigs, and we got these Democrats. Alright, now the Whigs ended up breaking up like a band, basically like the Beatles and shit. And they ended up taking their talents to the Union. And now that they're in the Union, they established themselves as Republicans. And they start booming, you dig? They become bigger and bigger and bigger. And within this time, a brother, not even actually a brother, but a brother, good dude, whatever, by the name of Abraham Lincoln ends up within this Republican Party and actually winning the presidential election and taking over. Now, the Southern Democrats, they did not like what the Republicans were trying to do, talking about expanding government, talking about not expanding slavery, and basically they wanted to hold on to those things, states' rights, all that bullshit. So, they was like, fuck what y'all talking, we finna get the hell on, basically, and they started to secede. And we had fights. There was this thing called a civil war or something like that, and basically there was an Emancipation Proclamation put out, and then, as we talked about in Juneteenth, everybody finally got freed after a little bit, but that angered the Southern Democrats. This is something that they did not want to happen. This is something that apparently Lincoln had promised that he would not do when he became president. He was going to say, I'm going to leave all of that, slavery and shit like that, to the states. But in the events of everything that ended up happening, it did not turn out that way. So Southern Democrats were pissed. But at this time, it doesn't really matter because the Republican Party is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger with more wealthy, influential businessmen. Now, they were fighting for African Americans, but they realized it was not in their best interest to fight for black folk. So they stopped. And they basically allowed the Southern Democrats, who were pissed off, to do whatever they did with the blacks, the free black people after Civil War. Excuse me. So they tortured them, they terrorized them, they created things like the KKK, and they basically just fucked with them for no other reason than the fact that they were black. Some old bullshit. We know it. So let's fast forward to about 1929, because shit was going good, right? It was rising for them, boom, 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 and then bow, a motherfucking crash. But what was interesting about the crash was the person who came to save it, because he was a Democrat by the name of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And it's crazy because what he was actually offering was the complete opposite of what we had known the Democrats' platform to be at that time. Basically, he wanted to expand the government. He had programs, this shit like the New Deal. It's like, look, bro, Social Security and shit like that, my G, we need this kind of stuff to get the fuck out of this depression. And basically, that kind of angered some of the Democrats that were still in the party, because that's not what they held true to their bullshit core beliefs. So they said, fuck it. You know what? Whatever. We'll stick it out. We'll see what happens. But we're not going to be happy about it. Tis the story. Anyways, we're moving forward. And we get to about 1960s. And a man by the name of Lyndon B. Johnson, who was also a Democrat, decided that he was going to sign the Civil Rights Act. Now, this right here was the last damn straw. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, man, y'all don't let these uppity niggers do everything. Now, you can't let them vote. And basically it's like, nah, man, we ain't with all that shit, man. Fuck all that bullshit. So what happened was, while Lyndon was running, there was a dude who opposed him that was a Republican by the name of Barry Goldwater. Now this motherfucker right here was basically your traditional, standard, run-of-the-mill Southern Democrat, but he ran as a Republican, basically. And with him opposing this and with him trying to make government smaller, basically shit like that, it was a call to the old democratic ways that made these Democrats, white, Southern, pissed off, racist Democrats, switch over to the Republican Party. Now you see, that's where that switch was. Okay. They started to take the Republican Party and use it and turn it into the GOP machine that we see today. Now, it didn't just start out like that. It had to go through stages. It had to go through the Nixon phases. It had to go through the the Bush phases, both of them really. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a whole bunch of shit. I mean, Reagan was in there. Look, man, I'm not gonna give y'all every fucking president that happened between there and then, but I'm just gonna tell y'all that this was instrumental in what ended up becoming more of the Southern strategy, and that was basically dog whistling to Southern white voters by using racial terms that would ignite fear and anger in them to basically be a call to action to vote these people in again and again and again to make sure that they save them from the straw man black people that they were creating. So, what we have is a switch in political party platforms that basically allowed for the statement, did the Democrats create the KKK, to be true and false at the same time. True in the fact that it was Democrats that created it. False in the fact that you have not used the historical context and shown the platform switch, which would have shown that if there wasn't a switch, then it would be the so-called Republicans today, the GOP, that would actually have been the Democrats back in the day. Did y'all follow that? Nah, it's not just two, but traditionally it's just those two that have actually really mattered. So we do have third parties. Our most prominent at this time would be the Libertarian Party. They haven't put out too many candidates that have really been serious, but that's not to downplay their political ideology or whatnot. I don't really truthfully want to get into the ideology of it because I truthfully want to get away from the actual labels of Republican, of liberal, of Democrat, of conservative. Okay, I don't care about those. I truthfully don't. Our problems are bigger than choosing a side. Our problems are so big right now that the only way to try to truthfully solve them is to just actually come together. Okay? No Republican Party, no Democrat Party, one big party, pizza party, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Like, just get the fuck together with this shit, okay? There's so many things that we really need to look into that don't actually have to deal with what side of the fence you're on. Do y'all want to stop these fucking wars? Cool, me too. The fuck? Do y'all want to stop the war on drugs? Nigga, me too. Alright, guess what? Y'all want better healthcare? Shit. Y'all want better schools? Me too, man. Y'all want better songs on the radio? Nigga, me too. Alright, that ain't got nothing to do with it. But I'm just saying, look, these have nothing to do with whether you are on the right or you are on the left. All it has to do with, are you a human? And do you want the same basic necessities and the same decency that is afforded to you to be afforded to everybody? I don't give a fuck about your R or your D. Only reason I pause, y'all know why I pause, but look, man, I'm tired of how polarizing this stuff has gotten, alright? I am done with the bullshit, y'all. I don't care about the jackass or the elephant, because they're all jackasses to me, okay? What we really, truthfully need to do is understand that every one of these issues at hand need to be put up one by one, and then we need to actually come to understanding of the problem, acknowledge it, and then come to a conclusion, a set of data, whatever. I'm not talking strictly the scientific method. I'm saying we need to actually address each issue individually instead of trying to make them collective. Oh, I'm on the right, so I have to be, pro-life, and I have to be for guns, and I have to be for this. No. You don't. You really fucking don't, bruh. You can be you. You can literally toe that line. You don't have to be either side, all right? You don't. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying be a centrist, because there is that, and that is not any better than what else is going on. A centrist is really just they're a grifter, all right? They're really just looking for the political opportunity that is best for them at that moment, and then they strike. Do not fall for them fuck boys and them fuck girls, all right? They ain't cool, and that's not who you want to be with. That's not who you want representing you. No, what I am talking about is somebody who objectively looks at each issue and realizes, hey, I'm not on this side. I'm not on that side. I actually am on both sides, you know? So those people, which I call rational, like-minded individuals, those people are the ones that are probably going to save us. And I need y'all, yeah, those people, I'm speaking to y'all now, I need y'all to get the hell up off y'all's asses and do something. Because shit's pretty messed up right now. The only way that's going to get changed is if the adults finally start doing something and let these childish ass people get the hell on. Alright? Now, what I do want to say about centrists real quick is, since we had one previously as our president, Mr. Obama. He was what I would call either moderate, centrist, however you want to say it. And the problem with them to me is, okay, if we do have a left and we do have a right, now, if whoever's on the left is compromising with the person on the right, then they would start to come towards the middle, right? Except if you're already in the middle, then when you start to compromise, you're going more and more and more and more to the right. Okay, so that's what Obama was doing. Obama was middle. He was middle of the pack. He was not a progressive. He was not far left. What he was damn near down the middle. So whenever him and all the Republicans talked about their bipartisanship and said, hey, we're going to work together, even though they never did, because that's what Mitch McConnell said was his crowning achievement, was being an obstruction fuckboy. But regardless, when things did happen, and it was him moving closer and closer to them, and them so-called moving closer and closer to him, that's not what was happening. It was the middle moving closer to the right, and it was just agreements. So now, we are getting closer and closer and closer to a far-right nationalist state, if not already damn near there. So what do we need to do? We need to stop acting like shit is okay. And we need to stop acting like we're going to make it great again when we were never great in the first place. So what we need to do, and I will continue to say what we need to do, is we need to look at each other, not as Republicans, not as Democrats, but as fellow citizens of this country, and we need to make it better. That's it. Yo, okay, so, remember that album I was telling y'all about, Dreamville, J. Cole's label and stuff? So they finally dropped it. Man, I ain't gonna lie. First spin, I truthfully wasn't feeling it like that, y'all. Put it back in that tape deck and I was like, you know what? This shit kind of funky, you know, kind of groovy, kind of cool. It's different. It really, really starts to grow. I mean, I don't know what the hell it is about that JID, that hook. On Down Bad, that shit just been stuck in my head. I'd have been down bad. But yo, I mean the album's fucking riding, man. And it's got so many people on here. Like, it is dope as hell. Y'all need to go check it out. Cole and Dreamville really did one for the culture. We gotta represent for that, man. I am so grateful to have been able to listen to it, and I'm passing it on to y'all. Go check it out. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, I don't know, wherever y'all get your music from. Get that. But that's not the album we're gonna review today. You know, today's album, man, it means a lot to me, y'all. I grew up in the same state as these individuals, so really, I was always in tune with so much that they were doing. Just growing up, and then in my older years. I mean, I'm not that old, but you know what I mean. So, when it comes to duos, I don't think there's a better duo out than Outkast. Like, y'all knew it was coming. You knew that there was gonna be some Outkast on here, man. And when it comes to their albums, this right here, Clementine is my favorite. I can't tell you how many times my Spotify homepage has said continue with. And it's like just this shit right here, like just a Clementine. Like, I just boom this shit, man. Spody Odie Dopalicious might be one of my just favorite songs in the way that there's just nothing smoother. You know what I'm saying? Like the way Big Boy like slides on that. I mean, it's just so cool. Don't get me wrong, I love Andre's verse, but man, it's just I mean, so many songs on here just remind me of the intellect, the southern intellect that they have. So basically with the song Return of the G, it's basically Andre's attempt to be like, look, man, I know y'all been talking this and that about Outkast. What are they? Some weird ass aliens? Are they some gangsters? This, that, and the other. He's like, look, nigga, we are what we are. We are some outcasts. And I love that shit, man. They address everything. In the song Rosa Parks, they were able to address the fact that people are talking about they ain't got it no more. I mean, it's just, Synthesizer was amazing. I mean, the art of storytelling, 1 and 2. This out, bruh. I'm sorry, y'all. I love this fucking album, man. This is one of the greatest things that will ever hit your airwaves. And I promise you, just one spin, just play it one time and tell me you ain't, baby, No, I was like just, I promise you, man. I promise. Put it in there, man. Quimini, shouts out to Andre 3 Stacks, and shouts out to Big Boy, man. Y'all been holding it down for so long. I love y'all. I love Outkast. I love everything about it. Y'all, check this out. So, I am actually going to have to be the bearer of some bad news in hip-hop, though, right now. It appears that there is a congresswoman named Inez Barron. And what she is attempting to do is, in a way, censor rap music by whatever they deem to be profane, not being able to be played on radios from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Now, I do have certain mixed feelings because I don't truthfully like what the radio has turned into, but I am completely with freedom of expression in all facets. So when it comes to that, even though we do have the FCC, they do have guidelines that allow them to say that this is bad words, will censor it without actually having to take it off the air. So I don't see this being fair to hip-hop to take their music off the air after already going through the FCC's protocol to say that this is suitable to be played. I get it. It's for the kids. Whatever. I mean, the kids are going to hear it regardless. I'm not saying, I'm sorry. Take a second. I'm not saying corrupt the minds of children. What I am saying is if they're going to the radio to find out the worst things in the world, well, there's worse places for them to go. Alright? That's all I'm going to say. But anyways, I don't really truthfully agree with this because it's a slippery slope. What do they consider to be profane? What do they consider to be outlandish or disrespectful or derogatory? I could have my own definition of that, and I'm sure it would align with some of what they're talking about. But at the same time, you have to allow them to put the music on there because this is within the contract and stuff like that. You can't just say, hey, bro, you can't have your music on there. Like, why? I mean, that's just stupid. So I am completely against this bullshit, and I just gotta let y'all know, man. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, it is consistently and continuously under attack, okay? Remember we talked about nonpartisan? That's what it is. That is a nonpartisan issue. People who speak about right-wing things, people who speak about left-wing things, they are all being attacked, okay? From fucking Milo Yiannopoulos to goddamn Minister Farrakhan. Okay, like there are a plethora of ways that you can get your ass knocked the fuck off of your platform by speaking about any type of topic. So y'all gotta understand that this is that slope, man. It only goes downhill from here. What do you consider to be profane is not what somebody else considers to be profane. And that's all I'm gonna say, alright? Subjective. But anyways, man, shouts out again to Outkast. Shouts out again to Dreamville. Shouts out again to everybody in the culture making this music. Oh, also, Crit about to drop that album. Coming out, I believe it's Friday, July 12th. So y'all already know what it is. Crit is here, about to drop. You already know! And also, King Crit about to drop a solo, I believe on July 25th, I believe is what it said. I gotta check that. But either way, we here! I am so happy. God, dog, man, I love good music. I love it. And if you listen to this album right here, which I just told you about, you listen to any of these other ones, I promise you're gonna find some good music. But anyways, man, we about to wrap it up, get into these weekly segments, and I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, y'all. What's good? So, today on People Who Suck, Burgess Owens. Now, if you're not familiar with him, he's a former Miami Hurricane, a former Super Bowl champion winner with the Raiders, and an overall idiot. Now, the biggest issue that I have with Mr. Owens is the fact that he continues to perpetuate the narrative that we had to clarify earlier. about the KKK and the Democrat. It's basically a white Republican talking point that he was espousing. And when I say he was espousing, I'm about to tell you where he was espousing it. It was at the reparations hearing, y'all. This fool literally sat up in front of everybody with the cameras on him and America watching, or at least the part of America that actually gave a fuck about it, went up here and started to talk that bullshit. You know, I was a Democrat until I realized the racist history of the Democrats, that they created the KKK, and that is why I'm a Republican, and the liberalism, the liberalism is what is going to. Like that's how my man was talking, right? He's like, liberalism is what makes men soft. He's basically a Jesse Lee Peterson type person. Go look him up and just, man, tell him if you can get through his shit without cringing. It's fucking horrible. These black Republicans that don't actually think for themselves, have no critical thinking skills, and continue to be white talking point mouthpieces are getting on my fucking nerves. I'm tired of y'all. I don't know where the fuck y'all keep coming from. Owens. You ain't related to Candace, is you? I mean, that would be wild, because both of y'all out here doing the same dumbass shit. Goodness gracious, man. So, I can't stand this dude, and I can't stand what he does, and I don't like his boy Coleman Hughes. I'm not saying that's his boy, but Coleman Hughes was also there at the reparations, and he was trying to be the intellectual side of the ignorant white Republican talking points, but trying to frame it from somebody who's still the Democrat. Like, he literally had the nerve to say, you know, it's sad that I can't say what I feel without being called a Republican, even though I'm a Democrat. Nah, bro, you want to be a Republican. You just don't want to be called one because you feel you'll lose your black card. Nigga, we don't give a fuck. We just want you fighting for the right causes. If you want to be a Republican, fight for the right shit. Alright, that's it. I don't give a damn. So look, we shot down 2 birds today because I wanted to add Coleman Hughes in there too. So Burgess Owens and Coleman Hughes, both of y'all suck. Anyways, man, book of the week. Now, if you're looking at this book right here, you will understand that we are doing a 3-part series for book of the week for this week, next week, and the week following. Now, these are from the Big Ideas Simply Explained series, where it takes the most famous philosophers, the most famous philosophical theories, thoughts, experiments, and basically categorizes them all within a chronological state or order. And you basically get a chance to see the way that philosophy has changed from basically the first philosophers, or who they deem to be the first philosophers, up until modern philosophy, people like Daniel Dennett. Now, within this is not just the philosophy book. There's the economics book, the criminology book, the science book, the psychology book, things like that. So, we will be doing the philosophy book, the psychology book, and the religions book. Next week will be the psychology book. And it's probably my favorite out of the 3, but the philosophy one was really, really instrumental in getting me to to truthfully see other philosophical perspectives, other ideas that kind of clash with what I normally thought. And it also gave me a chance to kind of figure out a way to craft exactly how I believe, or how I feel, or how I see things in my own philosophical worldview. So I recommend getting this one, and I recommend getting all of them because they're very, very, very informational, and they also are very, very good at showing you the actual people who said the quotes, where these people came from, what they were thinking, and then just gives you a whole bunch of little tidbits, facts, notes, shit like that. It's a dope-ass book, a dope-ass series, and I really, really recommend the philosophy book. Now, I want to make y'all feel good right now. Because this feel-good story, it actually hit me right in the feels, my G. So look, I was just scrolling through Facebook, not doing much, you know. So I think I was trying to watch Netflix, but it was boring, so I'm just scrolling. And I see this post, and basically, it was just a picture, and it had soy milk, and it had somebody's hand on there. And then I read the caption, and the caption revealed to me that there is an app, y'all, called Be My Eyes, that if you download it, there are actual people that have blindness, yes, that cannot see, that will actually be able to reach out to you, and you can help them with tasks. And this is what this post was saying, that this was the guy's first call that he actually got a chance to help a blind individual, and she needed help with the soy milk. So they FaceTime you, and you can actually see what it is that they need help with, and you can be their eyes. Tell me that ain't dope, y'all. Like, we are really trying to help for once, and I love it. Y'all, just for me, just for me, just for Controversial Congress, just for everybody out here, man, just do it. Download it. It takes literally 35 seconds to download and install. Get it, please. Who knows who you can help, man? And I'm telling you, it's going to make you feel so much better. And that right there is our feel-good story. Because I myself have downloaded it, and I'm waiting for my first call. Because I want to help somebody, damn it. But anyways, man, we're going to wrap it up. You know, today was actually kind of fun. We got to talk a lot about things that traditionally are just boring as fuck. Like politics. It's a droll. I know, it sucks. And I fell asleep in my poli-sci class so damn much. And the fucked up part was, I liked Professor Walton. Dude was cool. I mean, he was real dope. Really, really fun, loving professor who made it kind of interesting, but it's just boring. Alright? And I get that. But what I want y'all to do is to stop pushing that narrative. Okay? The KKK is a separate entity than any other political party, because that political party is basically dead. But if it was still around, what it would be the Republicans and the GOP. And that is not to say that the Democrats do not have any type of racism within them. What they have is what we call the soft bigotry of low expectations. Okay, they basically choose minorities to be pet projects and make it seem like they can't do for themselves, so they try to put programs around them to make them feel better and to so-called help them. Really, they're not incentivizing them to do better. They're trying to incentivize them to continuously need the Democratic Party to always be there for them. So what I'm letting... What the fuck I was about to say? Anyway, so what I'm suggesting is that we get away from political parties, is that we get away from that nonsense of the right and the left, and we just start framing it like my boy Kyle Kalinske says, populist, all right? I mean, he does say populist left, but regardless, it could be populist right, populist left, I don't really give a fuck. Populist, man. We go for the things that we know are the best for the country, and we stop the shit that isn't. And that's basically all I really got for today. So, next week, we will be revealing something very, very special. Actually, on the 15th, that Monday, there's going to be something that I'm very, 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 very excited about. It's part of my journey, and I hope y'all enjoy it as well. But, anyways, you already know. 2 things. I need y'all to be good, and I need y'all to be great. One love. Just the Bay.